One of my absolute favorite things about aging is getting to be a big old bitch. I love it, and I wish more women would embrace this because now is your time. You can still be kind and loving and caring and thoughtful and all those things, but my favorite thing that I'm finally allowed to be is a bitch. Love it. But I want to get into this column, a column of a column. You'll know I love these. Because what you're going to find is that when you decide to stop being a pushover, and a lot of people, especially on Patreon, y'all been asking me to talk about this. When you finally decide to like maybe not say no, say yes to everything and be the go-to person and all that stuff that really makes you just tired and makes you sick and also ends up eventually making you pretty bitter and like just miserable and just not felt loved or seen by anybody. Once you stop doing that, and it takes little by little, practice by practice, one, you can't just go from this to that. It's a process, and you build on all of these little steps, right? You're gonna lose friends, or you're gonna lose family. You're like, it's gonna when you're dancing with someone, and then you start dancing other you're not dancing the same. When one person changes, the other person is going to have to change. They may not change, but like that dynamic will change, and they oftentimes don't like it. Not at first, but they will either get used to it and adapt, and you actually become healthier in your relation to each other eventually, or you will realize that this person only likes you because you let them just do whatever. Let's go over this though. I call them of the column. What the hell, Mel? Or you've got mail. I haven't decided what yet. Those are the two I am debating over. But join my Patreon if you want to see my lives. I got 3 of them coming up that are amazing. I do that on Patreon. Or see Mo's stuff, France stuff, healing stuff, personal stories, all that stuff. Go to Patreon, check it out. Okay, this is the column of the column, and today it is Carolyn. Y'all know I usually agree with her. I sometimes worry that with age, I may be less gracious, diplomatic, deferential. That's a good thing. That one right there is a good thing than when I was younger. Yeah, that's the point. That's called aging. That's called healing. That's called adulting. That calls no longer self-abandoning. That is called unpacking your indoctrination under patriarchy to defer to men and take care of men and walk on eggshells around men and their big moods that take up all the space. I think some of this is just that I have more experience now. And more comfortable in my own skin and feel more comfortable setting boundaries. So this is why when women are afraid of aging, this is what you get. Confidence, self-respect, self-love, putting up with less crap. Maybe. You could just keep repeating the same cycle and act when you're 56 or 66 or 86 or 96 the same way you did when you were literally 6. Because some of us just never break out of these patterns. But ideally, this is what you get. Do not dread aging. My 40s are my favorite decade so far. Absolute favorite. Best things that have ever happened to me happened in my 40s. And I spent all of my 30s dreading this decade. What? But this is some of the stuff you get. Setting boundaries, telling the truth, saying no, except like this. This is all good stuff. When I was younger, I would bend over backwards to try to accommodate others. Yeah. That we all bending in ourselves into a pretzel to be what you want us to be. And I'm no longer as accommodating as I once was. Good for you. This is your demon voice. Use it more. My brother told me, here we go. Your brother is going to be your first bully. I do not have a brother, but all the women I know who had brothers, well, not all, a lot of the women that I know who had older brothers especially, this is their first bully. And oftentimes their mothers didn't, unpack any of this stuff, and they're favoring him and enabling him and letting him have all the food in the refrigerator. I did a whole video on that. Like their daughter's like starving, and the teenagers and the big teenage boys, they need 8,000 calories a day. I used to work with teenagers for a living in the outdoors, and I swear to God, I had to watch the boys. I know you're hungry, but you literally can't have all of the food for the entire group, bro. God, they just are, right? And families let them get away with this. So in many ways, brothers are your number one bully. And look, I'm guessing that he is here too. My brother Tommy has noticed that I've changed over time. And then I'm not as sweet as I once was. I want women, you don't want to be sweet. This is not your role model. This is the person who enables men, who enables bad behavior of anybody, who is faking and pretending and lying to herself, and is oftentimes happiness bully. Hey, because she feels like she has to like hide her feelings and be happy, 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 happy. And then she also doesn't let you have feelings that she doesn't like because they just gotta make her uncomfortable. God, this microphone talks to me all the time. I just say goodbye. Do you hear that? This is who patriarchy wants us to be. I mean, not necessarily blonde hair, although this is the one that's like centered, right? White, blonde hair, blue eyes, all that crap. Because white supremacy and capitalism plays into all this. And literally everything. They all are connected all the time. But she lets men do whatever they want and abandons herself and abandons other women to pick men. And you know what? She's a danger to herself and her community, because one day she's going to be full of rage and she's going to take it out on the wrong person. And if she has power, especially if she looks like this, that violence is going to come out somewhere. Anyone she has power over. Is why white women, we are terrifying to a lot of people. Because instead of standing up to brother or whoever is forking us over, it's too scary to stand up to him or dad or our husbands or whoever. That resentment, that rage, that sense of justice, it may just go away, but probably doesn't. And one day, gonna snap. And if we don't understand how all these structures work, how this cycle of violence works, and we take it out and we project on people we have power over, especially the Black community in particular. That's where we have a long history in my country. I'm talking about my country. As a Southern white woman, my people are a menace. And she is just as dangerous as the man she marries. Just looks different. So what this woman is doing right now and experience and who she's becoming, hopefully, and standing up to this person, hopefully will make her less bitter and resentful and full of rage that could be tapped into at any moment and taken out on the wrong person. Guess what? You are going to get pushback. Just because you get pushback from brother or husband or dad or even women in your life, just because you get pushback does not mean that you're doing anything wrong. By the way, if you're a white woman and you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. Don't start some stuff in my comments because they're going to be deleted. Just listen. Or don't. Whatever. But don't start stuff in my comments. Anyway, I don't want to be unpleasant. We need to unlearn this. Being pleasant is how we screw over ourselves, and we put other people in danger, especially other women. I don't want to be unpleasant. Needing to be liked is usually what's standing in the way to a lot of women's own liberation when it comes to being liked by men or women who center men. Now, again, there's always some sort of power thing happening. So you have to be pleasant to survive. We still have to smile at certain men when we don't want to. If we assess the situation, we're like, he might unalive me. I'm going to smile. Other times we're like, no, I'm not smiling. It depends on the context. It also depends on how protected you are systemically. Because I know, again, there are a lot of times when I am the perceived danger because of the color of my skin and history. And so I am probably treated with kindness and smiling and pleasantness based on my systemic power to call the police. Like, this is a much bigger topic, but basically, sometimes my people pleasing is literally just so men will like me and think I'm pleasant, or society will like me and think I'm pleasant. Other times I'm people pleasing because I don't want to die, right? And the less protected a woman or femme is systemically, the more people pleasing or being pleasant happens, literally to not die. So anyway, there's a lot of nuance to this conversation. But honestly, the best place to start is sometimes just trying not to be so pleasant with people who expect you, like your brother or your dad or whatever, to just be just happy. You don't necessarily have to set boundaries. You don't necessarily have to say no to everything, but just not laughing at their dumb jokes. Oh, that was such a beginning for me. Refusing to laugh at dumb jokes. As long as there was no threat of violence or danger, I stopped laughing at men's jokes. Great place to start. Just being like, I don't get it. Like, we can be such good actors. Be like, I don't know, I don't get it. And then they just, like, it is one of my favorite things to do. And they can't argue with you because they're like, what? And they just get very flustered. So for the people who've been asking me that, where do you start? Little things like that. I'm telling you, the more you start to just like not need to be pleasant and make them comfortable at all costs, the more confidence you will have in saying no to bigger things that are higher stakes. You know what I mean? You got to start small. You can't start like nuclear, because if it doesn't go well, like it'll be so destabilizing a lot of times that, and then maybe you won't continue to do that. Start small, build your confidence the same way you would as a writer, as a writing coach. I said that as well. Don't like, the little wins build on each other. If you want to write, don't like literally start writing a book that takes you 3 years. Try writing one story at a time. You know what I mean? Like, that's how you meet your goals, is little by little. You build on your wins. You build on your confidence. Just don't laugh at their jokes. Start there. Start there. And the second way to start is anytime someone asks you to do something, instead of saying yes, let me think about it. Let me think about it is your default. That alone will help you say no to more things, because even saying no is so hard for some of us. But literally, let me think about it. Or don't answer when someone calls. Let it go to voicemail and think about it. Seriously, these little ways, life changing. I started this back in 2007. I did not become this way just overnight. I have been literally working on this crap for so long. So much so that when I was a ski instructor or whatever, Taos, New Mexico, Taos Ski Valley, at a little restaurant on that mountain, it was my manager. I was this was probably 2005. That's 19 years ago. Yeah. First time I practiced, let me think about it. I'm not like, I'm telling you this because I don't want you to think, it's so easy for me to do this. 19 years ago was the first time I was asked to work an extra week that I couldn't work. So I countered offered my boss if I could negotiate this certain thing. And he goes, let me think about it. And I was like, I didn't even know that was an option. So I took that to my therapist, and she was like, that is your new goal. Stop saying yes to stuff. You're going to say, let me think about it, just like he did. He thought about it, and then he came back with an answer. That's what you're going to. So I'm just telling you, y'all, just give you a little idea that this is a hard-won victory for me to say no to things, way more easier now. Little steps. But I also think I'm happier now than when I was the family doormat. The family doormat. So, okay, it's not just your brother, it's probably your mom and your dad and whoever else is in your family too. This is why they are not going to like this. Not just brother, the whole family is going to try to push her back to being the doormat. Nobody in the family is going to like this because this disrupts the balance of the family. It may be a toxic balance, but it's a balance. And if she starts saying no to stuff, they don't know what to do. But it's good. What should I do to make sure I'm not becoming unpleasant? Okay, let's see what Carolyn said. Sign not as nice. Dear not as nice. You can be sweet, gracious, and diplomatic without being deferential or accommodating. That's true. They're not mutually exclusive. So if you don't want to become unpleasant or be a doormat, then keep saying no to stuff that you want to say no to. Or let me think about it so then you can actually build time and have confidence to say no. And make an effort on the non-doormatty aspects of kindness. Warm demeanor, kind words, fairness, good listening, all that good stuff. All still possible with a functional spine. Oh, Carolyn, I love you. This is really good. What is it like? What is it? It's like strong spine, open heart, or whatever. I don't know, whatever. Someone tell me. I know you've heard it. That is, if you want that, obviously. You can also just be on the flinty side without apology, because that's fine too, as long as you're not cruel. Boom. That right there. Being cruel, malicious, bullying, and any of that stuff, that does not necessarily have anything to do with being unpleasant. These people, this family may not like it, but they'll respect you. And as I learned as a guide and a teacher of many things, I would much rather be respected than liked. If you are liked by everybody, you are not known by anybody. If you are liked by everybody, you are doing nothing but self-abandoning, and you probably don't even know who you are. Because you can't be all these things that everybody likes all the time. And next time your brother says you're not as sweet as you once were, say,
"No, my dear bro, I'm still as sweet as freaking pie. I'm not a pushover. They're two different things."
They may not need to hear that. If sweet to them just means you're always let them get their way. Boom, Carolyn. In my experience, and in a lot of letters I receive, it's pretty common for people to put up a fair amount of resistance when their most reliable pushovers learn to stand up for themselves. Et voila, that's all she had. Seriously though, y'all, this is one of the most amazing things about getting older, is you stop caring as much. And then even if you do keep doing all this stuff, then perimenopause kicks in and it will force you to tap into some anger. But again, if you don't work on yourself and you also are not deconstructing this stuff, that anger will be most likely directed at the wrong person. Maybe at children, at someone you have power over at work, someone in public. But if you look like me, that anger, that will turn you into a Karen. Although we all have a little Karen in us. All the women who look like me, we all have a little Karen in us because that's what we're taught. But if you stop letting men especially bulldoze you all the time, that sense of justice, that anger, that rage will not come spewing out in the most violent, terrifying ways, because it's being directed at the people who are trying to take advantage of you and exploit you, and who literally sometimes hate you but are married to you. So stop trying to be pleasant when you don't have to be, because that's also how you die of autoimmune diseases and just overall hate your life. If you want me to talk more about this and deconstructing any of this, I'm happy to. Let me know. Thank you for listening. Please comment, like, share, hit notifications, subscribe if you like this stuff. Follow my Patreon, because again, lots of cool stuff happening. I got a best-selling author. I've got a lawyer who represented some of Larry Nassar's victims and won. I've got a live coming up this Sunday about talking about mental health, community building, parenting boy, all kinds of great stuff. Please check it out on Patreon. And thanks for being here and listening. Et voila! Welcome to the comment song. Welcome to the comment song. Now's time to leave a comment. What do you want to say? What do you want to say? Sorry. I'm trying to really figure out this comment song stuff. I'm just having fun. Anyway, time's running out. Have you left your comment yet? Are you done? Because I'm gonna stop now. Okay, 3, 2, 1, et voila. Merci.